Jessie here. I am back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be setting up my April budget setup in my Happy Planner. I have the big size Happy Planner, so they have a classic size which has 9 rings, I believe, and then they have the big size which has 11 rings. The classic size is quite a bit smaller than this. I think it's 7 by 9 inches. The big size is 8.5 by 11, and it fits a standard size sheet of paper. And that's the reason why I chose this planner, because I like to use the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. I own the printable version, and when I print out those pages, they print out just on a standard sheet of paper. So I don't have to do any resizing of the files or anything. I can simply select the pages that I want to print and print them. And I've actually already done that today, and we are going to go through the pages that I printed. I'll show you everything, and we will get everything punched and set up so that I can budget for the month of April. So like I said, I have the big size Happy Planner. I just keep the budgeting pages in the back behind the typical planning pages, and that way I can keep all of the essential planning pages that I use in the same book. It makes for a really big, heavy book. These rings are the expander size rings. I have the metal ones in gold, and they match the planner really nice, and they allow me to add lots of extra pages. So I don't carry this planner around with me. It just stays on my desk here at home, so I don't need it to be smaller. I do also have an Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly Planner that I could use in a situation where I needed to take my planner with me because it's a bit smaller, but for now this is working out really well for me, so I don't see myself changing anytime soon. So I went ahead and printed all of the pages that I'm going to need for the month of April. Let me just show you what I printed. So I have the cash envelope for April. This is a printable that I got from the Budget Mom's 2020 Monthly Savings Challenge course. It is a paid course that you can take. I believe it's $10, and she outlines a different savings challenge every month for the year of 2020 to help save money. It's actually 2 savings challenges per month. And part of that course is printables, including an envelope to keep your money that you save every month in, as well as some other things. I'm not going to go too into detail about what the savings challenges are. If you're interested, you can check out the course. I will link it down below. It's a really great resource though. So I do have April's envelope here that I'm going to use my trusty scissors here and cut out and assemble, and that will be part of my April budget. In addition to that, I have a 2-page monthly calendar layout. This was a free printable that I found. The Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck Workbook has pages to keep a log of your transactions, just sort of like a check register. That doesn't really work out so well for me. I have a hard time with doing it that way. I like a calendar system where I can write down the transaction as well as how much it was for. I use a color coding method, and that works out better for me. So I just found this monthly printable. It's in black and white. It's really sleek looking. Like I said, it was a free printable. I will link this down below as well. And I just keep track of my transactions that way. We're going to set this up together today. That's for April. And then I have the pages from the Budget by Paycheck Workbook. So these are going to go in right behind March. You can see the end of March here. I haven't filled out my Where Did My Money Go worksheets. In fact, I never really fill these out, so I didn't even print them out for April because I haven't been using them. But the pages I did print out for April were the monthly calendar, which I don't really need since I have this 2-page calendar, but I just printed this out so that the pages would all line up properly. And then I have the Paycheck Bill Tracker, which is my favorite. This is where I do my actual budget, as well as the cash envelope breakdown. This helps me break down how much cash I need and what denominations I need so that I can go to the bank and pull out cash, because I do work with a lot of cash in my budget. I'm not an all cash spender, but I do I pull out my sinking funds in cash, and I pull out our envelopes in cash. So this helps a lot with the cash breakdown. So I have 1 page of each for every week in the month of April. So this would be week 2, week 3, and week 4, plus an extra one just in case. And that's it for the Budget by Paycheck workbook. I found that those are the pages that I find the most helpful for me in budgeting, along with a few other pages of my own. There are these Where Did My Money Go worksheets that you can print out. There's other things as well that come with the Budget by Paycheck workbook. I just don't find that I need them, and that's why I really like having the printable version, because I can only print the pages I need. I don't have to be wasteful and have a bunch of pages laying around that I'm never going to use. So those are the pages that we are going to work with today. I'm going to punch these and cut them out, etc. I'm also going to go over my Savopoly savings with you guys, and that is going to be the setup for this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out this cash envelope. It's just on a full-size sheet of paper, and you can assemble it. I've got some Scotch tape here to do that. You can use glue, whatever it is. The Budget Mom has a ton of these printable cash envelopes, both in her free resource library as well as ones you can pay for. She also does have envelopes that you can just order and have shipped to your home. I really like the idea of printables though, because I can get creative with them. I can have instant gratification. I don't have to wait for something to come in the mail. So I'm all about the printables. And like I said, this particular one did come with the Budget Mom 2020 Savings Challenge course, but she has lots of other ones as well. So all of my resources that I use will be linked down below. And I just cut this out by hand. I don't know if this is like the most efficient way to do this. I do have a paper trimmer I could use, but I feel like with all of these rounded corners and stuff, it's just easier to do it by hand. And so it's not going to be perfect, but I don't need it to be. It works just fine. So I just go around the page with my scissors and cut it out. And then I'll just trim up some of these edges that are a little sloppy. And I'll put it together with my Scotch tape. Close enough. Let me just get these scraps out of the way. And then the way that this is done is you just fold it along the white lines essentially. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Fold it along all these little white lines, makes it really easy. And I'm just going to use my Scotch tape roll to tape the edges. You could use glue for this, like I said, but this works out just fine for me. Alright, and there we have my April envelope. This can go into my little accordion folder here where I keep all of my cash envelopes. And whenever I set aside money in my April Savings Challenge, I'll be able to use this envelope. You can see here, I also have January, February, and March in there, and we'll just add April. So that is step one done. I'm just going to stick this back in here, for when I do my actual budget. And we'll set this aside, and I'm going to punch these pages. So the punch that I use to punch my pages is an arc punch. This is a big, ginormous, heavy-duty punch. The hole sizes are not exactly like the Happy Planner punch. You can get a Happy Planner punch, and the pages will then line up perfectly. However, the Happy Planner punch, you can only punch 1 or 2 pages at a time. And so I like this big heavy duty one where I can just punch a bunch of pages all at once, and it works out just fine. So while let me show you, go into the actual Happy Planner. The actual Happy Planner punch does a nice deep inset punch like this, which keeps the pages in there super, super secure. The arc punch punches them. Let me see if I can find a page here. Doesn't have a bunch of information. The arc punch doesn't do quite a deep set punch, but otherwise it works out just fine. It fits in here really nicely. It does the job. It stays in place. So that's what I use. You can absolutely, like I said, use the Happy Planner punch. I just find that I like the arc punch better just because of my ability to punch more than one sheet at a time. I can also use the arc punch to print like to punch through like laminated pages and thicker cardstock pages and stuff. So for my money, that's what I went with. I will link my arc punch down below, as well as if I can find the Happy Planner, the big size Happy Planner punch, I'll link that as well. So I'm just going to punch these pages really quickly. I need to make sure that they're all lined up. So I do want my calendar to open up this way. So that is right. And then afterwards, I will have all of these pages. So yeah, it's all in order. I'm just going to pull my punch over here. And I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing here, but you just make sure that it is set to letter size. It's very important. You can do multiple sizes of pages with this arc punch. And actually, I think I'm only gonna do like half of these at once, just so that we're not overworking the punch here. I'm going to line these up and punch. So there you have it. Now I'll do this other side. There we go. And now I can put these pages into my planner. So they'll go behind March, but before all of my extra pages. These are just different charts and things in the back here that I use to keep track of everything. We're just going to pop these pages in a few at a time. That's what I love about this Happy Planner, the disc system, because you can move pages around. You can, you know, pull them out to write on them if you prefer to write on a very flat surface. You can pull out and remove a page entirely if you need to, so it just works out really, really well. So that is all of my, there we go. So that's all of my April pages in. I'm going to grab my little bookmark here so that I'm in the right spot and move that over. This is just something that I purchased from the Happy Planner accessory packs. I think this came with a teacher one, but there's tons and tons of different accessories and stuff you can get for the Happy Planner as well. So that's all of my pages that I need. Now we're going to go ahead and set them up. So I need to date my little calendar here because it's an undated calendar. I'm going to go in and put all the dates in. I'm going to probably do that off camera. You guys probably don't want to sit and watch me do that. And then we're going to put in all of our bills for the month as well. So let me go ahead and get this book dated really quickly, and I will be right back and we'll go over my monthly bills. Alright, you guys, so there we have all of my dates in my April calendar. It's just 30 days in the month of April. And now the first thing I'm going to do is put in the paydays we're expecting in the month of April. I'm going to use my erasable pen here. This is the Parkoo erasable pen. I get these from Amazon. I really like to write in erasable ink because, you know, there's a lot of math involved in budgeting. I'm not the greatest at math. I make mistakes, but I'm not a big fan of writing in pencils. So this is like the best of both worlds. So my husband gets paid on Tuesdays. So every Tuesday there will be a payday for him, as well as I am expecting a YouTube paycheck in April. I don't get paid from YouTube every month. There is a threshold that you have to meet if you're not familiar with how YouTube pays. YouTube pays through AdSense. You get paid for the ads that you put on your videos that people watch. And so there's like a $100 threshold that you have to meet before they pay you out. So I earn a little bit of money every month. And then once I build up to $100, that's when YouTube will send me the paycheck. So I am expecting pay from YouTube this month, so I'll put that in as well. So the 7th will be my husband's paycheck number 1. 14th will be paycheck number 2. And when I do my weekly budgets, I budget paycheck to paycheck. So my pay schedule, essentially, that I will be budgeting for will be, for instance, for paycheck 1, I will budget for April 7th through April 13th. And all the bills that fall in that week will get paid with paycheck number 1. You can see the first couple of days in April here were actually covered with my last paycheck of March. So that was in my March budget. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the 28th will be paycheck number 4. And that is my husband's income. And then I also will get paid, like I said, from YouTube, and that typically happens on the 21st. So when I do the budget for this week, I'll have 2 sources of income, my husband's paycheck as well as YouTube. All right, so that is all the paydays. Now we just need to go ahead and put in the bills. So the way that I like to use this calendar is with a color coding system. I have my big pack of zebra mild liners here, and each thing that I put into my monthly calendar is color coded. So my monthly bills will be in one color. When I go and do my grocery shopping, I will write in the day that I went grocery shopping, the amount that I spent, and that will be a different color. I also will keep track of my gasoline purchases in here and anything else that I decide that I need to keep track of the transaction amounts. So I do that with a color coding system. It works out really well for me. So all of my bills are going to be done in this blue color. That way I can look very easily and see, you know, what bills are due this week. Anything that's highlighted in this color is a bill, and that will need to be addressed in that week's budget. So I'm just going to go in and put in all of my bills. Again, I'm going to do this off camera just because it's going to get tedious. There's quite a few bills I need to put in here, but I will come back after everything is in and show you what it looks like and how I use it, essentially. Alright, you guys, so I went in and I did my color coding and I put in all of my bills and everything that I know of that for sure is going to happen this month. I can go in week to week and add more. This is just kind of to get me started. So what I did this month is I did all of my regular bills in this dark blue color. So you can see here I've got like my lot rent, my car insurance, Hulu, Disney Plus, those sort of bills are in this deep blue color. Any debt, so this includes my truck payment, my camper payment, any credit card payments, as well as our debt snowball that we have planned for the month is in this red color. So you can see here I have a debt snowball payment I plan to make every Tuesday. I have my camper payment, I have my truck payment, and some credit cards here. So that's all in red. For savings, that's my monthly savings challenges. That way I can just glance really quickly at this calendar to see how much each week I'm supposed to be saving, is in this lighter blue color. This doesn't include my sinking funds. I don't typically keep track of my sinking funds here on this calendar, I definitely could. I just don't. Groceries, which I haven't put any of my transactions in yet, will be in this purple color. So whenever I have a grocery transaction, just use my little straight edge, highlight it down. I always do the mild liner first and then right on top. That just seems to keep everything from smearing. And then I will just put in, you know, the grocery store if I went to Walmart and how much I spent. And that will help me keep track week to week what I'm spending on groceries and make sure I stay within my budget. And then the same thing with gasoline will be the same, and gasoline will be this pink color. So that is my calendar setup. This just makes it super easy when I'm sitting down to do my weekly budgets to glance. So for example, this will be paycheck number 1's budget. I know that paycheck number 1 is on the 7th, and I'm going to pay all the bills between the 7th and the 13th. So the bills this week will be Hulu, Disney Plus, and that just allows me to know at a glance what I need to be budgeting for. So the way that the Budget Mom recommends that you use her calendar, she has the calendar here, is to put your paydays in as well as your bills, and then highlight using the same color the bills that will be paid with that paycheck. So in her method, this would be like paycheck number 1 would be highlighted in this blue color, and then all of the bills you're planning to pay with paycheck 1 would also be highlighted in this blue color. I have used her method before. Let me give you an example if I can find one. Here we go. I have used her method before. It did work out pretty well for me. What did not work out for me though was the transaction log, which I did use the Budget Mom's method of keeping track of transactions for a while. I'll put a little picture of what that looked like. But I just had a hard time keeping track of everything because she wanted you to write everything down sort of as it cleared the bank, and I was having a hard time because I like to write things down as I pay it. So I wasn't writing it down as soon as it was paid, and it would take a couple of days for it to clear my bank, and then I was confused about whether or not I had paid things. So this is what works for me. You can do whatever works for you. I just like to share my method of doing things. So that is that, and I believe that is everything that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, no, I also wanted to talk to you about savings. So savings, like I said, is in this lighter kind of bluey green color. And the way that I figure out my savings is I follow the savings challenge course from the Budget Mom for the monthly savings. So for April savings, I followed her recommendations. But then I also, in addition to that, like to save using Savopoly. And I wanted to show you guys how I do that. So every week when I do my weekly budget videos, I talk about my Savopoly, but I'm not sure if I've ever showed it to you guys. So this is a printable that I found on memotherandi.com. Let me zoom you guys in a little bit. I know I've been kind of far away for this video. And I paid, I want to say $2 or $3 for this printable, and just printed it out on a regular size sheet of paper and punched it. And this is just a fun way to help me save extra money. And what I use the extra money that I save for is pretty much whatever I want. It can be just extra fun money, it can be extra debt money, it can be used to buy things that I want on my wish list. I don't have a specific goal in mind. This is just extra savings. So this is not like my sinking funds where I have a specific goal, something specific I'm saving for. This is just extra money. And the way that this works is you roll a dice, and I actually use my phone to roll a dice. I have an app on my phone here. Let me just pull it up really quickly. It's a free dice roller. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but I open it up, and you can select how many dice you want to roll between 1 and 6. So for Monopoly, you roll 2 dice. So I select 2 and I just click play, and then you just tap to roll it. And whatever I roll, I find the previous spot that I was on the last time. I like to keep track of where I was using just the date written down here below the space. And then I will count from that space, and then whatever space I land on, that's how much I save for the week. The amounts I put up here, and I always do it like a month at a time. So I sat down before I started filming this video, and figured out everything I was going to save for April. So I will roll, 4 times and just write it down, and that way I have it all ahead of time. So for April, I landed on, for April, first paycheck in April, I landed on chance. So for chance, it says that if you rolled an odd number, you save $15, and if it's an even number, you save $3. So to land on chance, I rolled a 9. So that's an odd number. So I know that for the first paycheck of April, I'm going to save $15. And then the next one, I rolled another 9. So I moved another 9 spaces and landed on chance again down here. And since again, that was an odd number, I know I want to save $15 for this. And then the next number I rolled was 5, so I counted out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I landed on this utility, and that's $30. So I know for the third paycheck in April, I want to save $30. And then again, I rolled an 11 and landed on this $14, and that will be my last savings amount for Savopoly for April. So that is how I do it. I think you can pretty much do it however. But I will leave a link for this Savopoly Printable down below if you guys would like to download and print it and do this challenge as well. I've saved a ton of money through Savopoly. And like I said, it's just extra money that I can get into whenever I need extra money for something or if I want to treat myself. So that, I think, is going to do it for my April budget setup. Let me get back to my little calendar here and wrap this up. Alright, you guys, so that is it for my monthly budget setup. I like to film this video every month and just show you how I set everything up. It's pretty much the same every month, but it's a nice resource. People ask me all the time, what pages I use, what punch I use. So this is just a good way to kind of get all that information out there. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Make sure that you tune in on Friday so that you can see my first budget for the month of April. I will be filming that video next, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Make sure that you subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content. I do budgeting videos every single week, as well as grocery hauls and vlogs and other fun things here on my channel, so I'd love to have you back. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!